Hey, what are you? You want to know my story? Why don't you come on in? Show you. This is where I live. My little blacksmith shop. And if you just follow me right on back to the back, I can tell you the world about what I've been doing, how I got here, and how I became so rich. Nah, I'm joking with that. But I can show you how I've come to live in this little itty bitty building. So, yeah. So as we go away into my backstory. This is where it all began. When I entered the world, yep, like everyone does, lost, dazed, and confused. Do a little bit of a spin, trying to get my surroundings, as my eyes become not blurry and I see everything that is truly around me. This is where it started. Yeah, it started in the Mesa Desert place. I was like, this is interesting, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to quite live in this location. But I did do what all people do first, and I ran up to the closest tree I could find to go punch it. Yep, right up here on top of this hill. And I probably picked up a few shrubs on the way because, well, they drop sticks, and sticks can be used to make tools. And that's why, saves me for more wood I need to use, less trees I need to punch. Can't be very nice on the fist, I imagine. Yeah, I got this wood, and this is where I go. I just, do the normal starting stuff. I craft it up into a crafting bench and tools to prepare myself for the first night, which is always the deadliest part of the game. It's actually normally like caving or being silly and falling off of giant cliffs. But yeah, we'll worry about those later. Finally, just making stuff so that I can live. Well, hopefully live. There'll probably be a lot of death. The other side of this, actually kind of funny talking about a cliff, is right over that ledge, which looks like nothing, is actually a cliff. And you can see me digging there. I thought I could just dig down to get stone, forgetting I'm in a mesa. No, I just ran away. Yeah, I found stone. I did find stone. I had to dig down somewhere else. And this is the location that you see will be my first base, where I'm going to spend my first night, hopefully not die. And in order to do that, I figured a wall. Yeah, I'm going to try and build a little wall to get the area around so that I can stay safe. Hopefully. I don't know how long I plan on staying here. You don't know how long I guess. I didn't know. But I figured I'll stay here at least one night. Put up a barrier, break the blocks around so they can't get in accidentally. Ooh, that wouldn't be very good. And you see, I'm here crafting. I remember spears exist and they're kind of cool. So I make one of those out of copper. Yeah. Wait. I'm lost again. Oh well. In between these points, you didn't see, there was a tiny bit of mining. Like when I found that stone, I coincidentally ran straight into copper, which was enough to smelt down, turn into some goodies. I go fight some bad guys. Well, actually, they were just in the way. Because I think, at least at nighttime, the colors I just mined looked really cool. And I would like to theme a base around them, but I'm still not sure quite yet if that's what I'm going to do. I mine them. I do actually end up using one of them later on when I build my base, which was really the end of the story for the beginning. But I do need some goodies the next day, so I go looting a shaft, and I do find a golden apple here. Actually, I find 3 by the time I'm done looting, which I was just like, wow, that's kind of crazy. And also, I find some more copper, which, my tools are going to break. You see the pickaxe durability there. So I do have to mine that up before I continue exploring, running around, mining, getting coal and other resources. Not just copper, because, well, I don't know. I don't even use coal that much, but I figured it'd be smart to have. And can't mine gold? Nope. I just mined it anyways, broke it. And the reason it was there and it was so high up is gold does spawn, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, might want to fact check me on that one. But it spawns more often in the mesa. Same as mine shafts. Which is mine shafts make sense. The more gold, the more mine shafts. There you go. But I decided I didn't want to live where I was. I wanted to find a place that I could happily live. And this was technically the second place I picked, because earlier. But here, there was a nice open plains area, which means I could build big. And I guess there's jungle wood. I'm not the biggest fan of jungle wood, but it was there, and it was an option. And there's also hills and everything. But it's just such a big plains by the water. I like the water. That'd be like cool. I want to build a dock thing. I want to build a dock at some point. But I also wanted to find villagers, which is what I did. Not yet, but right here, I died on the way finding them. I was actually really close to a village when I died, but here you see me boating around, going to find my loot. I do have minimap. Minimap is very helpful. But yeah, I died trying to find it, and I go out to get my stuff because it's kind of important. All my gear. Yeah. I do this a bit more. Like this, I did like over an hour of boating around, just looking for a village. Actually, here I died. It was because of a trident throwing dude. I drowned with a trident. He kind of took me out. I'm glad he despawned though, because I don't want to die again. Now this was just kind of boating down a canal looking for a village, which I was like, let's just keep going after I got my stuff. Because, like, I can't be too far away from the village. If I just keep going, surely I'll find one. And I don't. Not for another long time, at least. A long ways of boating. Which is, like, off in the distance. You still can't see it yet. After I go through this canal and cross another ocean, then I arrive at the village. Which is in a different biome, too. It's this one right here, the savannah. Now I do go here at nighttime. I'm like, ooh, I don't want to die. So I have to try and find a bed and keep the villagers alive. So I put some in boats and lock them up before I move them to where I think might be my final place to reside. And this is where I decide to finally get set up and prepare myself to stick around. Now these villagers, they got to go a little bit of a distance, because I want them all the way down by the water, like I mentioned earlier, because, like, I want to build a base near the water, and I don't want to have to bring them, like, I don't have to go up to go to the village. There we go. I want to have the villagers at my base for best ease use case scenario. Yeah. You see here, after I actually move these villagers, I go on to loot the entire village of all of its wheat. And that is because I want to breed up these villagers. I need more. More is always better, but I need the professions. From my experience in the past, and the reason I go into blacksmithing is for the iron trade. That's my favorite way to make emeralds. Have an iron farm, bam, villagers trade for iron, and I can give you the rest of the stuff. But I am also taking it kind of slow, so I'm not going to worry about them now. That's a later thing. But I do worry about my food source. And the one thing that always happens is I always kill all the animals before capturing any, because I want the food. But this time, I'm a changed man. I go and I get the cows and I build them a fence, because I know if I kill them, well, there won't be any. I have to go a long distance, which is never fun. So you gotta bring them all the way back, and it's always rough. There's animals right here, so I'm gonna build fences and I'm gonna let them live. Yeah. No, I am just like using wheat to bring these cows in. So I'm like attracting them with the wheat. Simple. Best way probably to do it. I don't have a lead. I could put them in boats, but that's more work than it is to just lead them over. You do see the pigs, and there are sheep nearby, which you don't see in this clip, but I do actually go get sheep. I think the pigs I just leave. I don't really have a use for them. They just drop pork, and I don't have a use for pork. Cows drop leather and meat. I just need the leather, and then sheep drop mutton and wool, but I just want the wool. That's another thing I always struggle with, is the wool, which comes into play with the villagers at a later date, or I plan to use the wool at a later date. I haven't actually used it yet. Now it is time for me to start getting ready to settle down. So I start by clearing up my little foundation, digging out a spot where I would be happy to put my base. I'm removing this gravel, which I think I might actually use to surround my base, because I've seen it's going to be a blacksmith shop, and I think what better to put around a blacksmith shop than gravel? It feels like it'd be better than sand or dirt. I don't know why, but I do start with this design here I have came up with, where I'm going to have one section sticking out from the main building with the blacksmith area, and the main building being my house. And if you look at the corners, this is a little design that I thought would look nice, because I do later put fences and stuff in there to smooth out the corners, but I do like the extra depth it adds compared to the other parts of the wall, which I'm thinking now are really flat, you'll come to see, and they're probably not the best walls. But yeah, here you see me almost finishing up the surrounding walls, but I ran out of wood, so I had to go get a little bit extra so I could fill in that gap before I start putting in the actual wall bits. My storage is just up over past that gravel hill. You should be able to see at the corner of my base. I come back, I put in the rest of the wall surrounding whatever it's called, the shell, the outline, and then I go to the next step. And you see I put in some bars here along the top, those which are really hard to see on the gravel I've seen now. But that is like the window to the blacksmith, almost like one you'd see in the village. And then here I put in a doorway, which actually I'll probably take out later. But this is just me kind of rummaging around, seeing what my options are, what I like best. Because like I built the outline. So how I built the outline in creative, because I just think like a creative build outline gives me the freedom to explore the blocks that I actually have in my world and what I might want to use. And then I go into survival and I tweak it a lot. Like here you see I put on this roof, which this is a roof that's going on the blacksmith building. It's going to be a flat, almost rimmed around the edges. I do take it too far there. I go back, reverse it, like there. I'm going to put half slab raise over the main part. Now after that, I will move on, but later you'll see, if I show you a clip, I don't actually like this color. It's too bright of a white. It stands out way too much on the house. So I'll turn this, not granite, I'll turn this diorite into andesite later, which is like a gray, a light gray, almost like the gravel and stuff around it, which should help it blend in more. Now it's time for me to put on those flat walls, which are literally just cobbled deep slate walls I put around. And here you see me move around, so you actually see the other side, which I'm now doing the floor. This is where those colors from earlier come in, because I put down the terracotta flooring on the ground there, and then I go to do the other color, which I originally was going to do in a lighter color, but then I remembered I had the cool colors I liked, so I actually switch it out. I just ran a full 360 around my base, kind of random. Yeah, I needed stuff. Oh, and here put in the corners. I got sidetracked a lot. Just when I go back and watch my recordings, which this is just like a recording that I'm rewatching to edit. But yeah, I start with that light color and I'm like, not great. Not my cup of tea, I could say, if I drink any tea. I don't. But yeah, I switched it out for a darker color, which I ran out of, unfortunately. Oh, that's a gross transition. Nah, we'll leave it in there. But yeah, here we go to the roof, which is one of my favorite, the funnest parts I had building, in creative at least, and in survival, let's say. Ooh, second funnest in survival, because that funnest part would be coming later, which I won't actually talk too much about in this video, because it's a big next video thing, I think, as well. I did it after I started editing, and I think this video will be long enough by the time I'm done what I'm doing. But here I lay out the roof. I just really like how the two different roofs go together. Once again, not the right color. The lighter gray to the bright white should blend in better. And this is the other side, which, bam, it's done. I didn't really finish in that video. That was it, because of how the cut worked. But yeah, I have an interior here that you see, and it's empty. And all my storage is way over on the yonder that you've seen. So what I do is I go and move all my goodies in first. My chests, not all of them, just a couple, and furnaces and crafters. And then I move back and forth from left and right, and I bring my items over, which is seeming kind of choppy for some reason. Oh well. Yeah, it's just in the editor thing. But yeah, it gets brought over one item at a time, pretty much. One inventory full at a time. There's a hole in my wall back there, so I keep going that way. Yeah, I keep running back and forth from over here, where I just kind of broke the chests, ran back and forth, picked up the items, broke another chest, so on and so forth, until all of the items were moved over. Should be 1 or 2 more trips, I think. Yeah, now we come back to the house. In here, this lovely place. Transition. Bam. Roof changing time. Now, this is where I was like, yeah, that's not great. So I switch it over. And I noticed a second thing when building the switches. There are 2 roofs, actually have a block gap in between them. And I also don't like that. So while doing that, I also at the end connect the 2 roofs properly, as you will come to see in a little bit. Yeah, silly noises. Yeah. And another thing that I'm not positive about, but in the corners of this roof, I have gaps where I didn't put the block. And I'm kind of like, I don't know if that turned out the best way to do it, or if there's another way I should do. I mean, I could just say, like, if you made it this far, and you have an opinion about any of the building stuff I do, leave it in the comments. Why not? I mean, if you really watched to this point, sure. Nah, let's continue. Okay, so I slowly finished getting this roof on, and after I get this roof on, I'm pretty sure I had a cool idea for the interior of the blacksmith area, which I didn't really know what to do. Hence, you wouldn't know this because you don't know me. But I can tell you, me knowing, I do not know how to do an interior at all. So this was like my first time doing an interior that I'm actually happy with. And I was like, I would accept this as not garbage. You get what I mean, surely. It's like, not my best work, not the best work I could have done, but something that I would be fine with, as it was better than what I normally do. And I psyched you out, and me out. I psyched both of us out. Because I actually moved the villagers next. Yeah, this box here is going to be the super long temporary building for villagers that probably never changes. Yeah, that's TM, by the way. That's my name for it. Actually, that's really funny, the copyright. But yeah, the not so temporary box, which will house the villagers for probably 50% of the time I'm in this world. Yeah. I don't know. I was thinking the next build I could do could be the next building along the river, which would be the villager's house, which would make sense. But I could also just do a bunch of landscaping and not building a house. Because nothing is more fun than terraforming to me. It's just so chill. So, I don't know how that would turn into a video. Because I feel like terraforming is just something you time-lapse for a minute and then you're done. No one wants to see slow terraforming. I don't know. Now, this is the interior. And I went with iron and copper as just the 2 blocks I had a decent amount of. Because at this point, I have made an iron farm. It's off in the distance. Won't bore you with the details. I'll make it in the next episode, surely. Because it is just like my favorite iron farm. Simply put. Yeah, simply put, simple. But I think, and I was thinking like, I don't like how flat the iron is. And how plain everything is. So I do start with filling the water and lava cauldrons. Just for fun. So we had a heating cauldron and then a quenching cauldron, if you know anything about metalwork. But I'm also right now crafting up the blocks because I want to throw down copper blocks with copper fence. grates, iron vents, the stuff that's in the window here, but the copper versions, I strewed around. And also, I don't have any honey, because I want that to be that color, but I do know it's going to oxidize, because I don't actually have the stuff to prevent it from oxidizing, sadly. I would have to go find a beehive. And I don't think I've actually seen any bees this playthrough yet. So, I don't know. Next episode might be a bee farm. Who knows? I don't know. You don't know. We're gonna find out, though. Surely. Well, let's see if I get another video out. But after that, I decided to do terraforming. Because, like, yes, it does look fine, but a beach is always nice. So I go through and I put out this beach, and I plan on covering the bottom of this water with mud, just like they did in Hermitcraft Season 10, last season. Yeah, where they cover it with dirt and use bottles to turn it into mud, because it just looks so much better than the sand and clay and everything that goes on the bottom. And this is where we draw to an end. I'm ready to say goodbye. Bye, you random thing that came to see my story. I hope you enjoyed.